What's happening, fam? LAR movement still moving. This one's for the Negro manosphere. Brothers, this is called Shortcuts. Shortcuts cost you. As you grow older, I had an old football coach, one of my favorite guys of all time. He said, look, you're going to pay the piper, but it's your choice when. You can pay the piper when you're young, and you won't have to pay the piper when you're old, But if you don't pay the piper when you're young, you're going to pay when you're old. What he mean is, if you take shortcuts early, they're going to cost you later. So do it the hard way early while you got the energy, the body, the metabolism, the mental faculties to build as much as possible, or build yourself up as big and as strong as possible, so when you get older you don't have to. And this is not just physically, this is mentally, this is financially, this is emotionally, this is spiritually. Don't take shortcuts. Yeah, I know, about to go polo to the float out. I know, I'm down with it too. But this is what I mean. Let's start with physically. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't eat right, and you don't work out on a regular basis, you don't drink water, and you took shortcuts because you felt like you're young, but you start aging real bad, and now you in your 20s, you could make it, but when your 30s hit, you start breaking down badly. And now you're on medication and you're in your 30s and you're like, what? And people telling you, your life expectancy ain't what it used to be. Why? Because you took shortcuts. You took shortcuts. You could have did all that partying and took care of your health. And you know what would have happened? You'd be able to party longer. But you took shortcuts. And now a lot of us brothers know it ain't nothing for a black man to die at 55, 54, 50. Why? Because he took shortcuts with his health. Too stressed out to really take care of himself. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Mentally. But, no, financially. You took shortcuts. You wanted to be a hustler. You wanted to come up real fast. There's nothing wrong with coming up. There's nothing wrong with coming up fast. But sometimes easy come, easy go. If you live in a fast lane, you might burn out fast. So if you take the shortcuts of not tying up, not dotting every I and crossing every T, because don't worry about that. It comes back to bite you in the ass. You didn't pay that ticket. Now you got a warrant. It cost you. You didn't get full coverage. You got liability. Now you got a wreck that cost you financially. Or you don't have insurance at all. You think you're going to make it, and then accidents do happen. That cost you. Shortcuts cost you. You got to watch that. We dealing with our ladies, or with women in general. O'Shea and Steve was talking about this yesterday. You can't cheat the game. If you out here chasing thoughts, it's gonna cost you. Just don't look for a wife now. Don't look for somebody to be down now. And what I mean by that is, get your power up to the point where she got to get down with your program. But see, if you're taking a shortcut and you think you can just beat that thing in a submission when you get in the bed, you took a shortcut. Because now, it's going to cost you. Why you think we paying child support? Why you think guys get divorced and they get raked over the coals? Because you took shortcuts because you was in love. You didn't think about it. You didn't look at the character of this person. Some people get fooled. Don't get it twisted. Some people get set up. Don't get it twisted. But a lot of us just taking shortcuts. We want it. We just want it right now. We're not thinking long term. But when you don't think long term, you take that shortcut, it's gonna cost you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, that's what I mean by mentally cost you, because, and I'm gonna mix a few of these things together so you understand. Like when I was in college, my roommate liked to smoke weed, and I used to tell him, I was like, it's a bad habit. He was like, it's just weed. I was like, I ain't talking about the smoking weed part. That's the bad habit. The bad habit is you didn't handle your business, and now you have anxiety, and now you're emotional, and now you're using a weed to get you through the day as a coping mechanism. You're not handling the problem. You know, the weed is your shortcut. Your alcohol is your shortcut. Chicks is your shortcuts. But while you paying a dope man, while you paying a liquor store, you know, while you out here simping and tricking on these dates or whatever, or buying more stuff to attract women so you can have some sex, because that's your coping mechanism, it's costing you. And I was like, you know, that's the difference between, you see certain people who actually are drug addicts, and other people who use recreational drugs. Because people who use recreational drugs, their life is in order. Yeah, they got drunk on the weekend. They was partying because it's cool. They did all their work and everything square. Even if they got kids at home, that's square. They can go out and have a good time and have nothing to worry about. Other people, you took shortcuts, and you out on the weekends drinking because you're just trying to get away from all the fallout from taking all these shortcuts. Now you got to pay the cost. You just need a moment to get life's pressure off your back. Why? Because you took shortcuts, and that cost you. See, now that $20 to get in the club even starting to look a little heavy. Like, Jesus Christ, you know. Oh man, I'm gonna wait for the 99-cent you call it, because I'm not buying no drinks after 11. No. You know, because taking them shortcuts cost you. And that's a problem. When it comes to building for yourself, you know, building a legacy, you can't take shortcuts. Because if you take a shortcut, that means you put a crack in your foundation. You didn't lay your foundation properly. So now if you took a shortcut while you starting your legacy, at the foundation of it, even when you build on it, guess what? It's gonna fall. You know that old story about the man who built his house on the beach, and the man that built his house in the mountain. That biblical story. The guy on the beach took a shortcut, and when a storm hit, no house. The guy on the mountain, he did it the hard way, but he never had to worry about a storm ruining his home. Never. And he had to build his house one time. One time. He didn't have to set it over and over again and be looking at the beach. Oh, it's such a beautiful beach. Got to start from scratch. He can expand on that one house if he want to. That guy can never expand because he's on the beach taking shortcuts, and he can't get one house to stand more than a year. So this is why you do not take shortcuts. Yes, the idea of working smarter and not harder, but that don't mean take shortcuts. You can work smart and not take shortcuts. Don't think working smart is taking shortcuts, because you wind up paying for those shortcuts because you didn't put in the real work to close that chapter. And you know, old saying, you know, if you do something right, you know, you do it right. I mean, do something right one time. You know, if you do something right, you only have to do it one time. If you do something wrong, you have to repeat it over and over and over again. Yeah, it took me a little while. You know, I took a shortcut thinking. But if you do something right, you only have to do it once. And when you get in the mentality of doing it right, no matter how long it takes, everything you do is going to be done right. So it's going to last longer. So you can build on that. But if you take shortcuts, some things you might be successful creating, taking a shortcut, but the other things won't. So even if you got some things that stand the test of time, the other things that of your legacy that don't stand the test of time are going to break down and shatter. So you won't have like a whole sound structure of a legacy. So I'm just putting this out there for the fellas. Understand, man, you know, I want everybody to be prosperous, live long, happy, be free. But the best way to do that is to not take shortcuts. Yeah.